right, folks. Welcome to another edition of Hats Hits. Guide to Find Special. This number 7 sound right? It's something like that. I think that's right. As we talk to all of you out there, all you happy Benjamin, all things high school football in Virginia. With you on the show, interact with us. You're watching on the IG, you're watching on the Twitter or the X or the Facebook or LinkedIn, or wherever you're tuning in. We always encourage your comments and feedback. I'm watching a baseball game as we do this. It's 12th inning, bottom of the 12. The Tigers of Detroit against the Mariners of Seattle as Montero faces Rivas in the bottom of the 12th. And Seattle tries to walk it off to make the only diehard Mariners fan I know, Mark Davis from WTKR3, a happy camper on this. Otherwise, he'll be very sad. But let's tell you what took place on this particular Friday in October. And we've got some great takeaways, hits for all of you on this night. There were a bunch of spotlight games, which we highlighted on Virginia Preps with our links to the NFHS network. And by the way, use that promo code. You'll get a discount. You want to take advantage of that. Get a chance to watch some of the best high school football in the state. There was, I think, 7 matchups between teams in our rankings to top 10s across the 6 classifications in Virginia, plus a couple of undefeated showdowns. We're going to start with one that wasn't an undefeated showdown, but one that had serious ramifications, and that is the Cumberland District clash. He's off to the races, second base with nobody out. Seattle, they can bunt and sack fly. They got themselves a W and a trip to Canada to take on the Toronto Blue Jays. But Eastside Rye Cove. There's a little bit of pause for me having Eastside ranked as high as they did. Oh, our man Lord Malik Karuch chiming in. Stay on there, Malik. We're going to get to you at the very end tonight in our last hit of the 5 takeaways. But Eastside, we put number 2 in our Class 1 top 10 rankings. And what we didn't love about that is the Mariners failed to execute the bunt properly. If you're watching on, is it Fox or FS1? I think it's Fox. But we had Eastside number 2. They had a real close scare with Rural Retreat. Had to pull it out at the very end. 2-point conversion and a touchdown. So I started to wonder, all right, should I have Rye Cove ranked higher? Rye Cove won the region last year. They've beaten them 5 straight times. Well, not happening because Eastside jumped out. I know Rye Cove's starting quarterback was out in that matchup, but Eastside jumps on them 18 donut. Now, Rye Cove, like a championship team does, they showed their mettle. They come roaring back to make it 18-12, and they had thousands and thousands of people out there in Coburn and Southwest Virginia. And if you're not from Coburn and you don't know what it's like, you need to go check out the videos online. Go find your social outlets and do your searching for Rye Cove and Eastside because those people were lining up for hours for that game. But Eastside's able to pull it out and pull away at the end, thanks to Keldon Hamilton, who I've gone on record saying is the most underrated two-way player in the state. He's a junior. I think he should have Division I attention. People say he plays at a small school, and they look at him and they say, I don't think he's a stud. And he's one of the best, and he played well, had some big moments and runs in that game, also tackles people left and right. He's just productive, ultra tough, gritty heart and soul. But another kid, sophomore Rocky Bond, no relation to James Bond or LeBron Bond, but he stepped up in a big way, 86-yard touchdown catch and a 46-yard grab, and Eastside pulls away 24-12. So what did I learn? Well, they had lost to him 5 straight times. It's the first 7-0 start in school history. And Eastside, which doesn't have, I don't think, any seniors to really speak of consequence. They can make a real run at this thing and win Class 1 and maybe go back-to-back, but they got to get there first. And this was a big step for them and a big moment to show they're up for the task. And they'll probably see Rye Cove again in late November, but check mark, revenge is a dish best served cold. Starting to get colder. Another revenge game. As we go to number 2 on the Hats Hits, which we put up on the X or the Twitter as they call it at Hatfield Sports. Go check it out. That took us to Region 6D. We go from Southwest to Northern Virginia, up there near D.C. Westfield hosting Madison. Bulldogs show the bite as they chomp down and hold on for dear life against the Madison Warhawks, who had won 5 straight Region 6D titles, and they're trying to go for 6 in a row this year. They graduate 30 guys every year, and Justin Counts does a super job. But Westfield pulls it out 17-16, and it snaps a 7-game losing streak to Madison. They had been knocked out of the playoffs the last 2 years by Madison. They've had their number. 4 of those losses have been by 7 points or less, and they get it done. And I tell you what, some guys stepped up. I knew this was going to be a defensive type of game with these two teams. They've both been known for their physical play, their running attacks, the line of scrimmage. But for Madison, Caden Green's a big-time force on the line of scrimmage. I think Cornell just recently extended him an invite, Ivy League school. And then Wesley Flamer at linebacker. He's a stud, 2027 name for people to know for Westfield. But a guy that stepped up for Westfield in a big way, senior outside backer, D-back, Jason Ace Larte, got himself a pick in this game, also stopped the 2-point conversion for Madison if they scored to try to take the lead, and the Bulldogs hang on for dear life. Huge win. They had lost back-to-back games, had Westfield to Washington Liberty, and last week blowing a big lead to Lake Braddock. If they lose this game, season could spiral out of control or certainly not look so great. This is a season-saving type of win for them, and they will probably see Madison again, but now they have to believe they can go win a region championship and go compete for a state playoff berth in Class 6, where, again, your favorites are still defending champ Oscar Smith and Colonial Forge and probably Lake Braddock, who they just lost to. But Westfield could thrust themselves into the Final Four conversation come late November, early December for sure. Can they get the bunt down? Seattle with Mr. Crawford at the dish. Oh, the line's about to flip over to the top, and you know who's coming at the top? The big dumper. You got a Rosarena and the dumper and Julio. 2 on, nobody out, and they're about to walk. The bases loaded. Oh, that's not a good way for you to Troy after Tarek Skubal did all he could. And they get a strike on that call. That's not a strike. These umpires, by the way, we got to get to the electronics. I'll tell you what. They screwed Seattle in game 1, by the way, and they're about to screw them again here. That was a terrible call. So that covers Westfield and Eastside. Let's stick in Northern Virginia for a bit because we'll get to the 757 if you can hang with us as we get closer to 12:30. Oh, no, he bunted into the top. Oh, no, they're going to say it's foul. Number 3 on the takeaways, Patriot and Battlefield. Bobcats coached by Greg Hatfield, no relation. I'm not saying that because his team lost, but no relation. I promise you we're not related. 48 straight regular season wins, which is mighty, mighty doggone good. Now, I know it's not 51 in a row like Phoebus had, and there are streaks that are comparable. You know, Green Run's now won in their district. I think it's like 49 in a row, 57 when you count the playoffs. There are district win streaks and win streaks in general. It's going to be a sacrifice potentially. It's caught and left by Riley Green. And it's 1 down. Nobody advances. Oh, that's tough noogies for the Mariners, for the M's. Going to have to rely on a Rosarena and a big dumper to get it done here. So, Patriot, they go to a change at quarterback. They put the freshman in, trying to jumpstart the offense. They lost their first 2 games to Westfield and Colonial Forge. But the defense, which has a Penn State commit at linebacker, and they could use him right about now, by the way. Couldn't stop anybody against UCLA last week. What in the world? We're not talking basketball here. We're talking on the gridiron. James Franklin, are you alive out there? But Patriots defense comes to play. They beat Battlefield last year in the playoffs, upset the Bobcats when their quarterback, Callum O'Shea, got hurt 10-7. O'Shea's been out, but the Battlefield offense has shown some wrinkles here. New OC with Chris Haddock, the former Centerville coach, to go with head man Greg Hatfield. And Battlefield is unable to, oh my goodness, we got a double play. We do, and we're going to 13 innings with Detroit and Seattle. My gracious, the game's never going to end. Bring back the Ghost Runner. No, we don't want the Ghost Runner. Get rid of Ghost Runner. But so on Patriot and Battlefield, 14-7 tonight is the score, or I should say on Friday night, as the Pioneers save their season because of the defense to snap the 48-game win streak in regular season for Battlefield. I say save their season because if they lose this game, they take 8 teams to the playoffs in Region 6B. Most of your regions take 8. There's a few that take 6 of the 6 classifications in 24 regions in Virginia high school football. But if they lose this game, they're probably not going to make the postseason unless they run the table and get some help. They had to get this game, and they treated it like a playoff do-or-die game in October, and they got it done. Hat tip to Sean Finnerty and his crew. They bit the bullet. They went to the freshman at Q, and the defense balled out, and they got it done. And they've had Battlefield's number now a couple of times here lately. And that drops Battlefield from probably getting the 1 seed in 6B, where Colonial Forge is likely in the driver's seat. go to number 4, and that is in Region 4C. I've been teasing the game for a couple weeks, and that game being Loudoun County versus Loudoun Valley. Why do we care? Because they both were unblemished. Loudoun Valley, the Vikings at 5-0 for the first time since 1988. Loco, the captains, used to be the Raiders, I think. They're the captains now. Loudoun County captains, 6-0, and they're now 7-0 for the third time in 8 years. And it's because of Montez Dyson. Give that man a helmet sticker. If you didn't see what he did, ran the football incredibly well. This is a workhorse now for the captains. 41 times for 202 yards and 4 touchdowns, reminiscent of what Javon Ford did a couple years ago for Kings Fork against Oscar Smith, the Towson Tiger running back against the Tigers of Oscar Smith in the rain. Probably rained there, and guess what? 31-7. Loco said, we're not Low Valley. We're Loco, and we're better than you. And they proved it because they have Mr. Dyson. He's getting recruited by Frostburg State and some other schools. And again, I know there's things in terms of measurables. He's 5'8", 175. He's not the 5'11", 205 back. And if you don't run a 4.3 40, he runs a 4.55. You should be getting this attention. Bottom line is this guy's productive. Just a couple weeks back against Millbrook, he ran it 33 times for 279 and 2 touchdowns. Find this dude. He can play. He's a darn good football player. Schools, if you're paying attention, if you're getting a gym, he can go. He's got it. And Loudoun County, I'm starting to wonder, I hear you, Verina and Dinwiddie and Huguenot and Louisa in 4B. I know Jefferson Forest has a defense in 4D, and Phoebus is not done yet. We know that their demise has been greatly exaggerated, and they will find a way come playoff time. Lafayette's good. A bunch of teams in Class 4 can be there. And Loudoun County belongs in that conversation now with this type of win, distancing themselves in a game like this. I'm sure there will be teams that will try to stack the box and dare them to throw, but their defense rose up against an offense that was putting up points in bunches. And Dyson might not be as easy to stop as some of those teams I listed out there that might have to run into him think. So they got a lineman going to Clemson, and Carter Scruggs was a 4-star tackle helping pave the way. Pretty good combination. When you have him blocking for that guy running it, could be a little helpless. You know it's coming, and they can stop you. And our 5th and final takeaway as Riley Green strikes out, and the M's of Seattle are 2 more outs away. Hope you're watching playoff baseball past midnight in October. I wish I was with my team, but unfortunately, they couldn't get in. But the 5th and final takeaway, it took me to Chesapeake on this particular Friday night. A little bit of rain in the forecast, wind. Should I stay home and watch a game on the computer? Should I go? What should I do? Different things happening as we wave to Coach KH52 out there in Oscar Smith football. One of Oscar Smith's rivals played host to the Nansman River Warriors, one of 31 unbeatens entering this second Friday of October 2025. And the Warriors had plans and designs of still being unblemished when they see the Tigers later this month, but they won't be because they could not protect a fourth quarter lead on the road against the Braves of Indian River High at James L. Fry Stadium in a game that had a little bit of everything, folks. This game had a little bit of everything. Was it the greatest game of all time? No. Was it exciting and entertaining as heck? Absolutely. The crispness was not A+. The entertainment was A+. A little sloppy. The penalties, we're talking a combined 26 flags for 248 yards. That's yucky. Nansman had 12 for a $146, 14 for 102 for Indian River. And Nansman had 9 of those flags for over 100 yards in the first half alone. Yeesh. That hurt him. And the guy who was ready to be the star of the show, sophomore Quincy Gilmer, my gosh, is he top-notch with his speed. 50-yard TD catch to the house in the first half. He has 4 grabs for 96 yards. Can't cover number 7. But they get to halftime, and we get word that he got ejected for his second personal foul. And that loomed largely because Nansman still threw for a lot of yards in this game with their Syracuse commit Tyrell Grant Jr. quarterback. He the senior. Then you have the diaper dandy, the freshman on the other side, and Lord Malik Carew, who ends up throwing for 249 and 5 touchdowns on 26 of 40 He has 4 straight incompletes at one point in the fourth quarter. Then he completes 7 in a row on the game tying, they thought would be the game winning drive, to 5 different receivers. He spreads the wealth to a bunch of different players. Jason Preston was one of his favorite targets. Donovan Brown key. Valentino Shaw as well. Elijah Boggs catches the game winner in the OT. And can't forget about the outlet and out of the backfield in Arnell Trey Pugh III. But these two quarterbacks in a game that had 6 turnovers and all those flags I just mentioned, it was a flag fest. It was Flag Day in October in Chesapeake as the Mariners get another out, as Torkelson is down on strikes. You combine for between Lord Malik Carew and Tyrell Grant Jr., 534 yards passing and 7 touchdowns. They add 89 yards rushing to make it 623 total and 9 TDs. And Grant gets picked off in the OT by Preston. Haru, after 2 incompletes, shakes it off, dusts me off, I'm ready to go. And the Braves get it done with the game winner. Freshman comes of age. And I tell you what, Indian River getting this type of win to battle back, monster in the playoff power ratings, because if things shake out how we think they probably will in 5A, where Green Run's expected to be the 1 seed going 10-0, you get a 3-way tie with the beach teams behind them, with the likes of, in no particular order, we'll take them in alphabetical order, Bayside, Kempsville, Salem, and then Indian River. They still have to play Kings Fork. Remember, they lost to Smith. They win this in OT coming from behind with Nansman. That gets you to probably 8-2. Dare we say 9-1? 9-1 gets you a lock on the 2 seed. No questions asked. You go 8-2, you're probably still going to jump those beach teams. So you're looking at a loss in this game could have dropped you potentially to a 5 seed, opening up in the first round on the road. Remember, they hosted Kempsville last year and then lost to Green Run in the OT in the semis. Beat them 2 years ago in the region final. So now this has a real shakeout on the playoff power ratings. Meanwhile, in 5B for Nansman, they were like a sliver ahead or tied with Maury this past week. You're not going to be ahead of Maury now. It's not happening. No chance. Even if you beat Oscar Smith, doesn't look like it has a chance. And that's a tall order in itself. So now your seed could fall because you still have to play Oscar Smith and Kings Fork into the year. So you're talking about being a 1 or 2 seed. Now your slippage could be behind Maury, behind Warwick, behind Kings Fork. And you're looking at going from a 1 or a 2 to being on the 4 line, dare we say. So this had a huge implication, both sides, Region 5A and Region 5B, as we wave to Coach Williams out there and my man Super Eric Rogers, who has to be a thrilled Indian River alum tonight as he watches the 3-2 pitch to Mr. Keith from Buzzardo here in the top of the 13th. And it's a strike, not a ball. We're going to the bottom of the 13th in a baseball game that will not end before this Hats Hits IG Live special does. And by the way, we will be on 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern on 757 Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV. I will be there. I can't promise you if Ed Young will be awake or be there or where he'll be. I have no earthly idea. He's out, all around the town right now. Who knows what nightclub he's in or what, dating shop he's in or wherever. And I have no idea. Don't really care. But heck of a ball game. So that covers it. A lot of Nova flavor for this night. A lot of Northern Virginia flavor as Loudoun County. Big win, statement win. Lived up to the hype. It was. You missed it earlier. To go back and watch it on the stream if you missed it, E. Spoke about it. Entertainment, off the charts. Cleanest game, and you're welcome. Malik, hey, keep grinding away, young fella. You have a bright future ahead of you. Love what you're doing. And Mr. Shabazz in the press box tonight was raving about you, too. What a great young man you are. So keep after it in the classroom and in the books, too. But entertainment, off the charts. We say hello to my former VA Preps colleague, Coach Johnson, out there. The crispness, not quite, but heck of a ball game and worth the entertainment value. But Nova, a lot of check marks tonight for Westfield, for Patriot, for Loudoun County, out in Southwest Virginia. Eastside passes a big test with Rye Cove, and into 757. I've gotten some good games lately. I'm pleased. These big showdowns tend to underwhelm for us, especially when you go to a game that's billed as game of the week. But I've gotten some great ones. Triple OT with Maury McNamara, can't complain. Green Run Salem, touchdown with under a minute to go. Hope you have this Facebook. I do. We were just talking about it, Rob. We'll get that in a second as we go to the bottom of the 13th. And I just said that baseball game will end after this IG Live special. But I'll give you a couple thoughts on the baseball game in a second, who they should go to out of the pen at this point. And in addition to Green Run Salem and Maury McNamara, Kings Fork Wise was a great game in week 1. And this tonight, Indian River and Kings Fork going to OT. By the way, a little nugget for you, because I was in the press box next to the clock operator. He tells me in the box, hey, this is the same crew that had the triple OT game with Maury McNamara. And I'm sitting going, oh, don't tell me we're going to 3 or 4 OTs. And then I found out later after interviewing Brandon Carr, which you'll see this on our 757 Sports Talk. I don't want to give it away. He's done a game in his high school career that was not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, a lot of overtime. So check that out, 9 a.m. to 11 as I tease it for you. He'll tell you about that game in our interview. Pella 757, how would 5B playoffs shape out if it was to start today? And I see I've got a red comment as well on the YouTube I'll get to. Well, if it started today, I don't have 5 through 8, and we'll probably have this updated in the next couple of days, but I would project to you right now, it's probably going to be 1 Maury, 2 Kings Fork, 3 Warwick, 4 Nansman. Now, at the specific result, will those numbers reflect that? But that's what I would project probably at this moment. But again, still some big games to decide things. Warwick's got to play Hampton coming up. Nansman's got to play Oscar Smith and Kings Fork before the season comes to a close. I don't see Maury getting tested. I know Lake Taylor is still on the docket. This is not the Lake Taylor teams that had some of those dudes like Jalen Holmes and pro dudes. But they got the inside track on the 1 seed in 3A comfortably, those Coach Sawyer's Titans. But that's what it looked like. And I think beyond that, Norview's probably in the 5 or 6. Bethel's probably going to be in the 5 line. Norview on the 6 line. Let's see what we got here on the comments on the YouTube. James Hubbard reposting the stream. Thank you, James. But that's what it looks like at the moment. As far as the relievers go here in this game, real quick, before I give you a couple quick college and pro football. By the way, pro football, if you can figure out what the heck's happening in the NFL when you've got the Giants beating the Chargers, losing to the Saints, then beating the Eagles, the Bills losing to the Patriots, my Cardinals are a mess. Don't even get me started on that whole fiasco. If you can figure out, and I don't want to hear somebody get on this stream or get on there and say, oh, I got 14 out of 15. No, stop it. You're lying out your teeth, your tooth, if you have teeth. Not a chance. Nobody in America can figure out the NFL. And if they say they can, they're lying to you, and they're completely nuts. Stop trying. Stop trying. And in the college football real quickly, you got the big Red River rivalry, Oklahoma and Texas. It's taking a little bit of a hit because Texas has taken a couple of blemishes here. But I'm here to tell you, we know about Oklahoma's Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback who got dinged up a couple weeks back. I think Texas wins this game. I'm surprised as many people are on Oklahoma to win this game. I think Texas is mad. I think Texas has something to prove. And I think Texas might win by 2+ touchdowns. So that just tells you if you're one that likes to invest in things, go the other way, because my picks have been lousy lately, especially on the college and pro scene. So yeah, that's what we got on the docket. What's cooking? There's still some big games on the horizon. I haven't looked at next week's schedule entirely to see what's the juiciest of them all, but I do know one that I was looking at today was Colonial Forge and Riverbend is what I've been circling. And there is a Saturday Essex Rappahannock game in Class 1 that has caught my eye too. So those are two that jump to mind for me. And I know Highland Springs Verona is a big one in Richmond for folks. Didn't really hit a lot on Richmond tonight. Nothing crazy or exotic or exhilarating. And in Tidewater, we've kind of had most of our showdowns. There's been nothing that's – I don't think there's still a couple games that are coming up. We mentioned it, Kings Fork Nansman. You've got Bayside Green Run, I think it is coming up. I think it's next week. You've got Hampton and Warwick is a game that has some meaning. But a lot of your showdowns have been played already. So there you go. Flaherty. Well, you can't pitch Scooble. And Seattle's running out of guys to pitch here. I got to see who's pitched in this game. And, they got 2 on with nobody out. I'm telling you right now, this is it. This is for, yes, as Philip Twine Jr. chimes in. Oscar Smith-Nansman. That game is coming up, and as I pull up the schedule, it is on October 24th at Arrowhead Stadium in Suffolk. So that's a big one too. Put that. And that's a week before or 2 weeks before. I think the next week you have Kings Fork, Indian River. Then the week after that is Kings Fork and Nansman River. So yeah, so you have 3 straight weeks to close out October and begin November. Smith, oh, and I can't forget about that one. Thank you, Philip. Coming up on Thursday, I have a Hampton soccer match to call, women's soccer match to call, but didn't make a trek over to the peninsula for Phoebus and Hampton at Dowling Stadium. Rare to have those two teams with 3 losses at this time of the year, but that game has the makings to be a shootout with 2 really good quarterbacks. They have a lot to live up to catch what Haru and Tyrell Grant did tonight, with 623 and 9 TDs accounted for between those 2 youngsters. But Marcus Chapman for the Crabbers and Maricus Banks, the ODU commit, who's now back and healthy, looking good for the Phoebus Phantoms, who were able to hold off Bethel on their Thursday night matchup. As I go to the relief course for these 2 teams, and Polanco's trying to get it done here, put this one to bed so we all can go to bed. Oh, foul ball. Oh, my goodness. That almost did it. So Seattle's pitched Kirby, Spire, Brash, Munoz, Gilbert, Bizzardo. They got Castillo left. They want to start him, but they might have to go to Castillo if this thing keeps going. You don't want Ferguson there. He's got a 40.5 ERA in the playoffs. Ooh, keep him away. Hancock, Jackson, Miller, Vargas. Yeah, if this thing goes further, they might have to just scrap their plans for game 1 with Toronto and say, we got to get to the next round. Detroit, you're down to Hannafy, Herter, Canley, Mize, and Montero. I don't know where you're turning. You want to go to Mize here? A lefty and Herter? Ooh. Well, right now they got Canley in the pen. He could blow this very easily. I think Seattle gets this done here in the bottom half of the. Yeah, it's a good point, Phil. If you're watching Class 4 matchup after Churchland lost tonight, that's a biggie. And that was a surprise on the upsets. Was that Norcom? I know there was an incident outside the stadium. Hope everyone's okay. But Norcom was down 10-0 in that rivalry matchup with the Truckers, and they scored the last 11, including a field goal to win it. You don't think of the Portsmouth teams kicking a field goal, executing that whole situation with the snap, the hold, the kick to win, but they did. So kudos to Anthony Hawkins and the Greyhounds for prevailing in that type of ball game. I'm telling you, he's going to walk them, and then they're going to get a sack, fly, or bunt. If you can't score with the bases full and nobody out, sorry, my man, if Rod's still with us, Cleveland, I know what happened. That was tough. Actually, the Yankees had that. I think Cleveland had one guy out. I forget from their game 1. But if you get the bases led with nobody out, you gotta win this. You gotta win this last 11. Last 11. You gotta win this. You gotta win this. Come on. They scored the last 11. They were down 10-0. They made it 10-8. They got a touchdown, 2-point conversion, and they kicked the field goal. Kicked the field goal to win 11-10. If they cleared the stadium to everybody to get out, yeah, that was real, I guess, safe and smart. I don't know the situation, but yeah, there's a shooting outside. Go outside. Leave them on the stadium. I don't quite understand it sometimes. But and there's a strikeout. This could be played on to 14. And folks, if this goes to 14, I'm done. I can't hang with you till 1 a.m. I got to get some shut eye. We're gonna pull for Seattle with the teal to get this done and send the Tigers home. Sorry, any Detroit fans who are watching, but this is what we're doing. It's Seattle's time. They haven't been to a fall classic. They're overdue. And if they don't, Toronto, it'll be Canada versus the U.S. I will always root for the U.S. unless it's the Dodgers or Yankees playing against a team from Canada, in which case I will be putting on my Canadian hat and rooting for that team all day long and singing, "Oh, Canada." Suarez, former D-back. This is just how it's drawn up, folks. A former D-back, Eugenio Suarez, is going to send Seattle one step closer to the Fall Classic and just remind me what could have been if Arizona decided not to mortgage the season by getting rid of him and Naylor and Merrill Kelly. Tell you what, Flaherty is probably thinking inside, I'm in here for the long haul. Give me another inning. Give me 2 more innings. He is not thinking about that. Thank you, Sean Dyson, for chiming in and tuning in on the X. I was talking earlier about Montez, heck of a night he had for Loco in that win. And what a job he's done all year long. I mentioned it, not just the game tonight against Loudon Valley, but he tore it up against Millbrook as well. Been watching from afar in a different area code, paying attention to him. And again, if you're out there, college recruiters, get on this young man. He can play. He's a baller. 3-1, now 3-2. Oh, no. Oh, no. What is Suarez going to do? If I know Suarez like I know Suarez, he's going to chase an outside pitch low and away. If your TV's ahead of mine or behind mine. Oh, he chased it, and it's a double play. We're going to 14, folks. And I can't stay up for any more of this. Not with all of you. I'll probably nod off and wake up at 4:30 a.m. to finish posting scores and different things on our website on virginiapreps.com and see who won. But we thank you all for tuning in. And again, we will do this again with you all next Friday. But again, make sure you tune in to 757 Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV with yours truly and perhaps the coach, Ed Young. 9 to 11 a.m. Eastern is our scheduled start time. You'll hear interviews with Lord Malik Carew, Coach Brendan Carr, other surprises too, as we talk all things sports with all of you, including high school football, college football, the pro pigskin with the picks, as Bruce Pearl is whooping both my tail and Coach Young's butt. And we'll also chime in on the baseball playoffs now that Ed's Yankees are extinct. That was the only good thing of the week. So thank you all for watching, and we will do this again with you next time here. And have a great sports weekend, and see you later.